The senator from New Hampshire.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today in support of Senator Casey's amendment to strike provisions from Trump Care that would harm individuals with disabilities by reducing their access to affordable health care or limiting coverage or benefits under Medicaid or in the private health insurance market. Today, as Senator Casey noted, we celebrate the 27th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, recognizing the enormous contributions that Americans who experience disabilities have made in communities in New Hampshire and across our nation. Unfortunately, Senate Republicans are proposing massive cuts to traditional Medicaid, which threaten the support that individuals who experience disabilities need to thrive in their homes, their schools, and their communities. Mr. President, a few weeks ago, I visited an organization called Granite State Independent Living in Concord, New Hampshire, a nonprofit that helps individuals with disabilities of all ages to try to have an independent life for themselves. What struck me the most was the consistent theme that I heard over and over from different people who experience different disabilities. They said that because of services like personal care attendants, transportation help, medical supports, they were able to work and live more independent lives. Many shared that their biggest fears about what would happen if they didn't receive this support, a real possibility if plans to decimate Medicaid go into effect. Their biggest fears was that independence would go away, fears of becoming a burden for their families, or having family members have to give up their jobs, or having to be put in a nursing home, because that would be the only way they could survive. Person after person talked about how much they wanted to contribute to American life, to their communities, their state, to our economy. I kept thinking that all of these people were expressing such an American value, their desire to roll up their sleeves, do everything they could to make a difference, to be self-sufficient, to be independent. The ability for Americans who experience disabilities to reach their full potential is truly put at risk with some of these Trump Care proposals. And just a little while ago on the floor, I heard a discussion that perhaps there might be a proposal put forward on the floor, maybe this evening, that would record a sense of the Senate, that the Senate wants to make sure that whatever action it takes won't hurt people with disabilities. It will support people with disabilities. Now, there is no doubt, Mr. President, that a kind word can go a long way on a difficult day. But as somebody who has raised a child who experiences severe disabilities, as somebody who has spent a lot of time talking to people with disabilities and their families, I can tell you that sympathy and empathy only go so far. The people I know who experience disabilities, they want to do everything they can to support themselves, to be independent, to be able to reach their full potential. There is a difference, Mr. President, between charity and justice. And while none of us would ever reject the kindness that so many people demonstrate to people with disabilities, what we really should be working towards is making sure that people with disabilities have the same access to health care, to education, to the workforce that will allow them to have what every American wants, which is an independent life where they are free to chart their own course, support themselves, move forward. We celebrate the 27th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act today. one of our great moments in this country as we reminded ourselves of our founders' vision. Our founders said that every single person counts. And while they didn't honor that principle perfectly at our founding, while they did not count everybody at first, they have had the confidence that every generation of Americans would move forward, bringing in more and more people from the margins into the heart and soul of our democracy, our communities, our economy. And that in doing that, we would unleash the talent and energy of more and more Americans. It is that talent and energy that has been the secret of our country's success. It is our vision that continues to drive us forward. On this day of all day, when we celebrate the progress we have made to honor the freedom and strength and productivity of Americans who experience disabilities, the last thing we should be doing is to pull the rug out from under those very people by decimating the Medicaid program that provides them the kinds of support that actually allows them to be free, to work hard, to be with their families, to make a difference, to be treated like every other American, to have the rights of every other American, and to feel like every other American. We can't afford to go back to the days where we marginalize or don't assist some of our most vulnerable people, people who want to participate and contribute to their communities and to the country they love. So, Mr. President, I urge my colleagues to vote in favor of Senator Casey's amendment and make clear that individuals with disabilities deserve the right to receive the support they need at home, at school, and in their communities so they can be free and thrive.